In the tunnel. In the tunnel. In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 70. Any witty remarks you have before the episode starts now?
Start this before it gets canceled like the rest of the stuff that might be coming back.
Alright. Okay, so, jumping straight into that NFL. First things first, there is no Hall of Fame game.
And no Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony this.
Right.
The Hall of Fame game got postponed. Essentially, they're doing the same teams, I believe, next year. Which is unfortunate for the teams that are, I guess, hoping to play next year in Canton, Ohio. I mean, it's the first preseason game of the season. A lot of the players that are there end up not making the league. And it happens to be the weekend that guys who did make the league and establish themselves and became legendary are celebrated, and then we turn it over to those who probably aren't making the team at all.
Yep.
So it's just might as well. I mean, it would have been nice to see the Cowboys lose, because I'm sure the Steelers normally do well in the preseason. The Cowboys not so much.
Okay.
I really don't keep track of the Cowboys, but
yeah, I got nothing much to say about it. It's like,
God forbid,
at least like nobody paid attention to the game, but like the ceremonies and whatnot.
God forbid we didn't have another week with a broadcast where the commentators talk about Dak Prescott, his contract and how he wants to get paid this much, and like,
yep,
and it's going to be the Chris Collinsworth thing too.
Yep.
So it's just as well it didn't happen this year. Just wait till after he gets a new deal or becomes, I don't know, a Patriot or something.
All right. Other major thing that's happening in the NFL.
Yeah. So
let's preface this though, like.
Yeah.
Until I hear a name, I'm just gonna call them the Skins. They're the Washington Skins.
They're the R words.
No, they're just the Skins. There's nothing in front of it.
Okay. If only we had someone who we went to high school with who could weigh in on this. Except neither of us really, were friends with him. But, my thinking is, look, of all the things, if FedEx is the catalyst for Washington to change their football team name, then that's a very interesting catalyst.
Yep. Because
FedEx couldn't adequately deliver my furniture when I first moved here.
I remember that.
Yeah, I never ended up getting that dresser, by the way.
Wait, really?
Nope. They were after about 3 weeks of tracking on FedEx, where it was literally at the destination facility. They told me, and they did have it on the truck every day for about 3 weeks to be delivered, and then just didn't. And then they updated the tracking and said the package is too damaged to be delivered. So if that's the organization that wants the football team to change their name, you should probably change the name. Not so much for keeping FedEx as a sponsor, but for salvaging yourself so that literally anybody else can be.
Fair enough.
I mean, and, let me say for those who do watch our broadcast that I tried typing in Washington NFL for the image search, but because it seems insensitive to put like a Washington Skins helmet in the graphics, but there is nothing where I can do right now. I can't recolor the NFL logo for this.
That's true.
And I just didn't have the time to do it. I literally put this in, like 5 minutes beforehand.
Uh-huh. All right. Anyway.
Oh, and this has sparked the Cleveland Indians to look within themselves about possibly changing their name. And so, progressive, which it's great because they play a progressive field.
Uh-huh.
And it would be a progressive move for them to just change the name. So they can market the shit out of themselves for that initial season once they change the name.
Oh my god, dude.
Well, they can rake in so much sponsor money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the new Cleveland brought to you by Progressive.
All right. Okay, on to the NHL. What do we got? All right, so training camp's going to resume, but...
It already has.
Yeah, but players from the Pens, the Lightning, Maple Leafs, and Yotes have players that have tested positive. One specific one is Austin Matthews. He was practicing with the Yotes players in Arizona.
Now, we should elaborate this. These are teams that have had it, but within the scope and time period of a number of weeks.
Well, while they've been practicing, it's been pretty recent, these cases. I think when...
Yeah, some no. Some teams have reported that players have had it and recovered it from it
right
when they're reporting it.
But like, as far as when we decided on we were going to cover this, it was like 11 players at the time at least were in the process of recovering / had it. Yeah, but this hasn't changed the NHL's plan to come back. They are aiming for at least Edmonton or Toronto. Did they?
They confirmed it.
Oh, they
confirmed
did? Okay.
it. Yep. Edmonton and Toronto, with Edmonton being the home for the Stanley Cup Finals and Conference Finals, I believe.
Okay.
So now we are at the stage where Stanley Cup Finals.
Hold on. No, we're at the stage where Toronto can barely make it to the playoffs and win, so they have to have some of the playoffs there. And Canada just doesn't win a Stanley Cup, so we just have to have the neutral site there.
I was going to say something along the lines of first of all, very funny that Edmonton and Toronto, like you said, not exactly winning rings in the past 20 plus years. They decide that those are the host cities. But,
I mean, it probably has to do with like fan concentration and stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't really have a lot of fans out there. Canada doesn't really attract hockey.
Yeah, no hockey attraction whatsoever, dude.
So, no, but the point here really is at one point they were hopeful of, like for baseball, the World Series, and I think for hockey at one point they were hoping Stanley Cup Finals could be played in home arenas in front of fans. At this point, Edmonton is where the finals are going to happen in front of no fans.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, it's safer for sports to come back in Canada where the cases aren't spiking anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking it more seriously than half the people in the United States.
Thankfully, they closed down bars here for a week.
Oh my! Wow.
1 week. It's like being grounded, and yet people are like just driving to the next county over.
All right. All right. On to the.
Nobody's going to learn their lesson, man.
Yeah, I mean, People just have to be careful. It includes anybody listening.
I mean, how's it been over in New Jersey?
There's this one town near us that has 0 reported cases whatsoever. Our town, or your hometown, we have 73 reported cases, 5 deaths, I think, over this whole period, which...
That must be nice. We had like 200 plus cases one day this week.
Yeah, we're lifetime 73, I think.
Yes, we had over 100 today alone.
Yeah, you're also a bigger city than freaking middle of nowhere New Jersey, so... Can't argue that one.
There's a lot of conservative people in Flemington, man.
A
lot of people who protest wearing masks are in that town.
But, I mean, I don't think it's like... It's people are just making the decision not to do something, or like... A lot of it, the problem is like the younger generation, our generation, it's like, oh, they're my friends, I don't need to wear a mask. Like, just put the dang mask on.
Amazing how much protest wearing a piece of cloth and the minor inconvenience of it has caused. As if you're actually taking away somebody's inability to live their life. It's like, you can still go wherever the fuck you want and do whatever the fuck you want.
I actually went to get a haircut when salons opened, and like
there's restrictions
very seriously, and like
they can't trim down a certain part of your neck because they can't take the mask off or anything to impede.
Yeah, but that, like, again, I got a haircut. Like, I don't know if you saw last episode, or you can go back and look if you're watching the YouTube. I had a giant bush of hair.
No, I mean, look, I actually think that they did a better job on my haircut at Great Clips. With the mask on, I think they actually did a pretty fucking good job.
Yo, do you know, though, like, when I went there, I went to a salon, and, like, they actually, like, you know how the mask usually just goes around the ear and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Like, they got a paper clip and I clipped it behind here and it kept steady, and just so they could like cut behind the ear and all that. It's like they're actually taking it seriously. Like, there was not a point where I didn't have my mask on.
Not the same here.
Okay. Don't want to know.
I think you already do.
All right. Well, at least it's good news for like hockey coming back. Hopefully the cases kind of die down. When we get into hub cities, we'll have to see how all that testing works. We're going to go...
Yeah. The real thing is going to be, you know, if players get COVID now and develop the antibodies, you might see a drastic drop in, cases that come back positive when it's actually time to like get moving.
The whole premise of, like, I hope though is that they get tested when they come into the hub city, right? So
yeah, for sure. I mean,
they're
not going to let them go into Canada without being tested.
Yeah, if you test everybody and nobody has it, then as long as you regulate the people that are also coming in contact with these players, your chance of ever contracting COVID in your camp of people is drastically low. Right? So I'm not, like, once the playing starts and they've gone through all that testing and stuff, I'm not really worried per se of like a huge outbreak happening, as long as the people who are also coming in contact with these players and maybe are not isolated to these camps or hubs are, taking proper precaution and all that.
Sure.
But so let's move on to another sport that's coming back, and they have a little bit more concrete plans and things are already starting to set up. So, yeah.
I mean, it's Orlando. The more you can get in there and, like, actually look organized, the better it is. Just for the sake of Orlando's economy.
Yeah, but if you couldn't tell, we're talking about the NBA.
It's basically like Florida's dumpster.
Yeah, so they are They're setting up at a Disney resort, right?
Yeah. Well, they're Disney's World of ESPN World of Sports.
Oh, yeah, resort. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, anything at Disney is just a resort.
Yeah.
Could be powered by a pharmaceutical company; it would still be a resort.
All right. You want to go through some players opting out?
Yeah, so I think Trevor Ariza and the Blazers, they were opting out, which I don't know. First of all, I'm not sure if the Blazers are in position to make the playoffs this year. So
I mean, aren't they one of the teams on because they technically have a mathematical shot?
Let's find out here. Western Conference. Yeah, they're up 9th seed right now.
Okay.
So they're 3 games out of the 8th seed, or 3.5 games out.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So I mean, a little unlikely, but I guess if you're being realistic and saying, unless we make a run here, there's only so many games before we're going back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not worth being in the bubble for that little of a time to risk going back to your family with COVID. And that's the one thing I don't know that they figured out is, say if someone's positive, but their team gets knocked out of contention, does a player that's positive stay in Orlando?
Well, they'd have to isolate from the hub and then retest everybody.
So they have to isolate from the hub, but they also can't go back to their home. Where are they
Correct.
supposed to go?
They'd have to quarantine in because they can't travel. Terrible idea.
Yeah, so where do they go?
I don't know. But again, the whole premise is as long as everybody gets tested on the way in, you drastically decrease the likelihood of corona or COVID spreading in the hub. But the other thing is, like, once they're there, are they going to have to stay there even when they're knocked out?
Maybe. Might happen. And the same might be going on in Chicago, because I think they're putting the other teams in Chicago that aren't making the playoffs for some kind of off-season mini camp. Which I don't know if you're going to do off-season mini camp. Why are you putting 8 teams together though?
If I'm a player and I have to go to off-season mini camp, I'm opting out. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, why would? Especially because, why do you need to be around 8 other teams or 7 other teams? You can do mini camp practice squads in your own backyard, basically.
All right. Next on the list of players is Avery Bradley for the Lakers.
I think his wife or child has a weakened immune system.
Okay, makes sense. Then Davis Bertan from the Wizards.
Yeah. I think he won the 3-point shooting contest this year. So the Wizards are going to be missing that, but the Wizards aren't making the playoffs. Aren't
they like 11th seed or something?
They're 9th, but or is it 9th? They are. Yeah, they're 9th, but it's a far.
It's the Eastern 9th.
Like the Magic are 30 and 35 at the 8th.
Mm-hmm. So
the Wizards are 24 and 40 at the 9th.
Okay.
So basically, they have to win out, and the Magic lose out.
Yeah. Okay, then we have Willie Cauley-Stein for the Mavericks.
So the Mavericks are the 7th seed, but they're 40 wins. They're fine. The thing is they have injuries to big men this year.
Huh.
So this one kind of hurts, but they'll be okay.
Okay, then we have Wilson Chandler and DeAndre Jordan for the Nets.
Wilson Chandler is he was fringe on the roster all year.
Yeah.
DeAndre Jordan, I think, was having injury problems as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what sucks for the Nets is they signed Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Jordan. It looks like they're going to have none of the 3 for the bubble.
Yep.
So that basically leaves Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert to do everything by themselves with Jared Allen.
Good luck with that.
I mean, it's not a bad young three to have, but, it's not going to get it done.
You want to say the next name, please?
Thabo Cephalosha?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Yeah, Thabo Cephalosha of the Rockets, and then Victor Oladipo of the Pacers.
So he just came back from like a major injury from last year, right before the shutdown.
Okay.
So he probably isn't ready to ramp back up yet.
Okay, fair enough. And
So
then why take the chance, right?
Yeah, he cited rehabbing as the reason.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. That one actually makes sense, right? Like, having a child with a weakened immune system makes sense. Rehabbing from an injury makes sense.
Well, it kind of does, but he came back from the injury. That was now February, and now we're in July.
Yeah, but I mean, you can cite that, because usually when a player's, rehabbing from an injury, they're, in contact with personal trainers and all these other people. It's probably a lot slower with all these restrictions going on.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, it still makes sense to me. All right, so let's hear about this Orlando. Oh, nope, we want to go through some replacement players.
Yep.
Okay,
it's just really sad how bad some of these players are. There's a mix between good ones that probably were on NBA rosters for a long time, and then there's, guys that you've never heard
of. Yeah, okay.
So
let's just
go for it.
All right, so we got Jalen Adams signed by the Trailblazers.
Don't know.
Okay, J.R. Smith.
Hold on. Let's look it up.
Okay.
Let's do some due diligence here. Let's see here. He played for St. Bonaventure University.
Okay, when? How long ago?
Graduated in 2018.
Oh, okay, not bad.
He's 24, undrafted, played for the Wisconsin Herd of the G League, so Milwaukee's G League team.
Okay.
Where he was all NBA G League first team this year.
Okay. Best of the G League, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, on to J.R. Smith signed by the Lakers.
We know all about J.R. Smith.
Yeah. Again, this is probably the name that came up when you're like...
This is LeBron parading his buddies again.
Yep. Then we have, Jerian Grant for the Wizards? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, he played for Notre Dame until 2015. Was the 19th overall pick of the Knicks, which tells you all you need to know. Is when the Knicks take a guy in the first round, they normally bust.
Yep.
He went from the Knicks to the Bulls, then went to the G League, then to the Magic, then back down to the Wizards G League, which, hold on a second, we need to get into the fact that their G League team is called the Capital City Go-Go.
Wait.
No,
that's not a name. Try again. Oh my god.
The Capital City Go-Go.
Oh god.
And they play in Washington, D.C. Maybe a fun fact, they were founded in the year that the Capitals won the Stanley Cup. So maybe it just took some other team taking all the pressure of being a fucking loser off the back of the Capitals. And so, now he's on the Wizards for 2020. He was the ACC tournament MVP in 2015. Has done nothing since.
But I mean, he's at least been in the league.
Kinda. Does the Knicks, Bulls, and Orlando Magic really count as being in the league?
Well, they are teams in the league.
They are teams. He has played in the playoffs, though.
See?
In 2017 and 2019. Averaging 8 minutes per game in those.
I mean, what do you expect him to play like now in this?
Well, for the Bulls, you started 2 playoff games and still only managed to get 10 minutes per game.
But-
How do you start the game and only get 10 minutes?
Get hurt? I don't know. Pull a hamstring.
Jeez. All right, moving on to Trey Burke. He was a Michigan player who's hopped around the league. He was the 9th overall pick by the Timberwolves and was traded to the Jazz. Who then went from the Jazz to the Wizards, to the G League Knicks, backed up to the Major League Knicks, to the Mavericks, to the Sixers. Now he's on the Mavericks again.
Okay, so he's been around.
He's been around. He was really good in college. He's a little... he's 6 feet tall for a point guard that's still running a little small these days. But he's not bad.
Okay, then we have Ryan Brokoff for the Sixers.
So he's an Aussie guy.
Mm-hmm.
An Aussie small forward, 29 years old. Played at Valparaiso.
Mm-hmm.
Went undrafted in 2013. Played overseas. Was with the Mavericks from 2018 to 2020, assumingly riding the bench. And now he's with the 76ers.
All right. Then we have the Nets signing Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, so the fun thing about him is the Nets actually tried to sign him in free agency a few years back.
Uh-huh.
He was a restricted free agent, and he signed an offer sheet with the Nets. At the time, he was with the Miami Heat, and the Heat matched it, so he stayed with the Heat.
Yeah.
And so the Suns waived him earlier this year.
So he's with the Nets.
Yeah, he was with the Nets now. He's actually not bad.
Okay.
The thing is, he's 28 and hasn't really blossomed into a starter
I mean,
yet.
again, when you're signing players for this, I don't think you're looking for the star. You're looking for the person who can probably put in like 10, 12 minutes.
He does more than that, I'll guarantee that much.
Yeah, I agree.
This year, he averaged 16 and a half minutes a game. Last year,
the Nets are also different, right? Because they don't have the 3 players they basically brought in this year, so they're probably the outlier in what's being looked at.
I'm just saying, last year he had 31 minutes per game, so he can handle more minutes if needed. Granted, that was with the Suns, so you never know.
And then Cameron Payne was signed by the Suns.
We can move on past that. There's nothing exciting about Cameron Payne.
And then you want to say the last name, please?
Luke Richard Mbamute.
Luke Richard Mbamute was signed by the Rockets.
Yeah, he's been in the league a while, but I think this year he wasn't on the team. He's a really good defensive player. He's 33. He's from Cameroon.
Okay.
Went to UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was with the Clippers last year. Just got signed with the Rockets.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, on to now. Let's see what they're building up for practice for these teams. All right, so here you can see. I think it's definitely the Pacers,
Miami Heat,
and the Heat.
Alternate court.
Right. Yeah, I saw the logo and the logo right next to the free throw box. The paint, I guess. So yeah, like you got a giant ballroom with some courts, guys.
I would love for this to be like where they actually play the games, not simultaneously, but I think it would just be cool to be like watching a game on ESPN.
All right.
And see where one court ends and the other begins, like just to see the setup.
But okay, let's talk about this though. If the courts end up being like in here and looking like this, like the Hail Mary shot is gone for like the end of a quarter or end of a half, because
for sure.
You can't really throw it that high.
You gotta chest pass it.
Yeah, and so I feel like if they were to play in this type of environment, it changes the game a little bit. because you don't have all that lateral movement. Sure, like the major thing that was the Hail Mary one. It's still like a ball bounces, it can hit the ceiling now.
In theory, I mean, you look at the picture there, you can see some doorways there.
Yeah.
Now, the doorways look like, the doorway is what, like 8 feet tall?
Yeah, probably. I'm thinking this is about a 20-foot ceiling.
20, 22 feet, yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with the beam, and I say the beams are about 20 feet.
Okay.
At least that's what it looks like. And
the arc of a basketball shot, I feel like there's a lot that could go wrong here.
Yeah, exactly. The hoop has to still go up. The hoops are just down right now. With the arc of a shot, like you're looking at something going wrong. I mean,
but if you could find a place to put all the courts together, it would, and then have the actual games, it would be pretty cool.
The thing is, right, like, at least in this case, the beams wouldn't really affect a normal shot because it looks like they go from around where the 3-point lines are on either side, maybe just slightly in. So the arc is probably, at least the top of the arc is probably still where the actual flat part of the ceiling is.
It's hard to tell from this angle.
Yeah, and until the hoop goes up, it's pretty hard to visualize.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This if they have to set up courts in here or in an environment like this, it has to change some things.
But I just say kudos to the NBA for trying to make teams that are going into the bubble feel at home, I guess, in some respect.
Mm-hmm.
It probably takes a lot of work and a lot of time for the same amount of people.
Yeah.
To like bring in outside to set up 16, 20. How many teams was it?
It's 20.
20. Yeah, set up 22 of 30 courts in the same vicinity.
It's 22, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. So.
Yeah, and I mean it looks pretty cool, but
it does.
Again, like I'm just worried for how the actual court look for like actual game.
But think about it this way. No scorer's table or anything like that. How great would it be if the ball just, like, rolled onto the next court over and the player had to, like, go from the Pacers court to the Heat court to get it? It was like, wait, these guys don't play for that team.
Yeah. But aside from that, it looks pretty cool, and it's good to see the setup as far as, like, sports resuming is concerned.
Yeah. I completely agree.
On to the MLB. Well, this says MLB, but what we're really talking about is fantasy baseball.
So we drafted a new fantasy team, fantasy baseball. Check out the YouTube channel and the episode that we uploaded on the fantasy baseball draft because that was a real piece of fun, but you'll have to check that one out for yourself.
Yeah, we did a great job, by the way. Absolutely nothing has happened in the next, week since we've drafted that has questioned our integrity.
Yeah, but, we went into this fully admitting, even to people that we did not know in the chat, that we did not keep track of baseball, and that this was a free league, and we were just going to do whatever the fuck we wanted with it, so...
Yep. All right. So let's see who we drafted.
So we started off with Mike Trout. Mike Trout,
again, perfect pick.
Yeah, 5-tool player in his prime, great pick. Except for the fact that he has a wife that has a baby due in August. So, oops, they're gonna have to get out of the bubble for seeing his firstborn child, I believe.
Yep.
Let's see, what else? He's also mentioned he's uncomfortable with playing this year.
Yep.
Hasn't said he's not going to play, but just that he's uncomfortable with the idea of playing in the bubble scenarios.
Yep. Okay, and that was our first player, so everything's fine, right? Then we had Kershaw.
Who we did not bash at all and say that he was on the decline.
Yeah. Exactly.
We took him second overall, or not second overall, second round.
Then we drafted Pete Alonso.
That was probably our best pick.
Yeah, so far. Chris Bryant, Tim
Another
Anderson, and Nelson Cruz. Those are all okay picks.
Yeah, looking back on it, I think we probably could have gotten Nelson Cruz later, just in terms of the talent that we got after.
Yeah.
But Nelson Cruz puts up power numbers because he did Roy's a bunch of times.
Yeah. All right. And then we proceed to pick up Joey Gallo, Trevor Bauer, Mike Moustakas, and the pitcher Shohei Ohtani, not to be confused with the hitter Shohei Ohtani.
Because Yahoo Sports has a way of separating the batter with the pitcher, and so batter Ohtani went much later. But we got pitcher Ohtani in the 10th round. If Joey Gallo stays healthy, I like him with our 7th pick because he's got pop. We need Bauer to have like a career year ERA wise.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
But then Mike Moustakas will cover some ground. He's an old reliable short. So
yeah. Yeah, I think those picks are okay too. Then next 4 picks are Eduardo Escobar, Carlos Martinez, Brian Reynolds, and Ian Kennedy.
So Eduardo Escobar had 30 home runs last year, but we don't know if that was a fluke season. We got him in the 11th round, but he also covers 2 positions, so that helps us out. Carlos Martinez, I think, was the first relief pitcher that we picked up. Yeah. And we added Ian Kennedy at around that time, too, because we needed relievers badly.
Yep.
Brian Reynolds had a really good rookie year last year. We're hoping that he does well with the Pirates this year. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes, because, anything can happen.
And then we lead it off the next 4 with Masahiro Tanaka,
who got hit today with a line drive to the face from Giancarlo Stanton.
So great pick there. Then Yadier Molina, Joe Jimenez, and what's it?
Gene Segura.
Yep. So I think we're on the case for an outfielder and a pitcher now. Otherwise, I think we didn't really want Molina, but it was the only one available at the time.
Yeah, although none of the, even early on catchers that were picked earlier didn't really strike what we wanted. Catcher just felt a weak position this year. So we held off and hope that Yadier Molina stays healthy enough to, we did this for fantasy hockey where we just, didn't pick up a lot of goaltenders, and we just were hopefully they just maintain. So we'll see.
The thing with goaltenders is, you have your, first and second round worthy, and then everybody else is, 7th, 8th round worthy. And to round out the last 5 picks are Alex Verdugo, Nick Solak, Adam Ottavino, Avasil Garcia, and Mitch Keller. Ottavino was Jeremy's brainchild. Yeah,
so he was really good last year. And for some reason, Yahoo decided to rank him 300th in a draft that has less than 300 picks. So I found him in the ranks, and we snooped him and finally pounced on him towards almost the very end, and then we just threw in a starting pitcher at the end too.
I think you saw him at when we were picking Molina or Tanaka, and we literally just held out picking him until 240th.
Yeah, he was so buried in the rankings that we were we can probably get him at the end, and then we just waited and did it a couple rounds ahead of time because you didn't want to risk losing it at the very end when the rankings start to line up.
Yeah, when nobody cares about rankings anymore because nobody knows what's going on.
Yep, pretty much.
And yeah, Mitch Keller was just we probably should use another pitcher, right? So we kind of just picked one.
Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, he's young. Hopefully, he'll be good this year because he was not great last year. For some reason, ranked higher than guys who have been in the majors longer for the Pirates. But I don't know.
I mean, is that really saying much? Because you're talking about Pirates ranking.
Look, I'm not attached to this guy being on the roster at all. If we need to cycle him out for somebody else, then so be it. But it's worth a shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're currently down a starting pitcher, so I don't think somebody's getting cycled out anytime soon.
Good point. You can't argue with that logic.
Yeah. So, a little bit of things happening after our draft that are quite unfortunate, or we just didn't realize.
Could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody who gets hit in the face. In the face.
Yeah, so that was our fantasy team.
And also at Yankee Stadium today, a bunch of alarms started going off during practice after Tanaka got drilled in the face. Not like right after, but that was also happening today.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Nothing like being out in the Bronx and hearing sirens going off in a stadium.
Yeah, that's not concerning whatsoever.
That's got to be one of the worst places to be is inside a stadium when sirens go off.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on the field, because then you have to go through the actual building part to get out. There's no out in 30 seconds.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's a fun time to be alive.
Yeah, so we're stoked for sports to come back, even in this limited capacity. Personally, I can't wait to see some NHL again. Hopefully a short MLB season makes it a fun one that I'll actually keep watching past the first 10 games of the season.
Probably not, but that's why we add the fantasy component into it, so that we can go to work in the morning and be like, I really don't want to set this lineup, but fuck it, let's do it.
Oh, did my player actually play good? Why is he so bad?
I mean, he's on the DL again.
Yeah, and can't wait to see any new developments out of how the NBA is setting up in Orlando. One of the
I can't wait for half of our fantasy baseball team to be on the COVID injured reserve list at one time. It'll probably happen too, knowing us.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anything
Good
else
times.
you want to?
Like our new graphics. We're implementing more, but they're here to stay for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, and look out for the new thumbnail page that's coming out on the YouTube videos. That's going to be cool.
Yeah. Hopefully you like the thumbnail, and hopefully you see a recolor of some of these graphics in the near future.
Yep. We fully transitioned to subway tunnel kind of theme. So it's a fun time to be alive.
Yeah. All right.
Because what's worse than being quarantined in your home is going into a tunnel.
All right.
See you guys all for 71. Hopefully we'll have more shit going on by then.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a darts tournament or something that we can comment on.
Maybe we look at Korean baseball again.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's been since the last time that I actually watched any few minutes of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and catch you next time.